It is book review time. Today we are going to be reviewing the Liveship Trilogy by Rob and Hobb. Yes, there is a third book, but I lent it out already. This is not really a duology. I do know what I'm talking about. Hi everyone, it is Samantha, and today, as I said in the intro, I am here today with a book review. I'm going to be reviewing the Liveship Trilogy by Rob and Hobb. I did lend out the Ship of Magic, otherwise I would be showing that with these two, but I don't have it, so if you guys follow my channel regularly, you will know that I'm a big fan of Rob and Hobb, and you will know that I absolutely adored this trilogy. So spoilers, I really liked it. But now I want to review it for you and do a discussion. I'm going to have a spoiler-free video and a review and discussion video. They'll be separate, so that way you guys will not spoil yourselves. But let us get started now on my review of the Liveship Trilogy by Rob and Hobb. So the Liveship Trilogy is the second of Rob and Hobb's trilogies that take place in the land of the Elderlings, which is what this world is called that these books take place in. It starts shortly after the events of the first trilogy, the Farseer Trilogy, except for in a separate part of the world, so farther to the south. It follows about 7 different character perspectives, so unlike the Farseer Trilogy, which is told in first-person perspective, this series is told in third-person perspectives and follows multiple characters. Most of the character perspectives are of the Liveship family, the Liveship trader family from Bingtown, but the book will also follow Rainwild's characters, the pirate captain Kenneth, the sea serpents, and a few other characters that kind of come into the book later on. The story itself opens with Althea, who is aboard the family Liveship, returning home, and currently the captain of the ship is her brother-in-law Kyle. Kyle and Althea do not get along whatsoever. They have completely different of opinion. Althea is a very strong-willed young woman who wants to be very independent and live her own life and help aboard the ship like she has since she was a child with her father. Kyle is her sister's husband, and he is very chauvinistic, to say the least. He believes a woman's place is at home, in skirts, having children, and they just butt heads like no other. So currently they're on the Liveship, sailing home back to Bingtown. They've had a fight. They're on their way home. They arrive at Bingtown. Althea discovers that her father is in fact on her deathbed. When they left, he was merely ill, but now he is dying. So she puts aside her differences with Kyle, and they all help to bring her father aboard the family Liveship. Because in order for a Liveship to quicken, which means for the ship and the masthead to come alive, 3 consecutive captains for the same family have to die aboard the ship in order for the ship to absorb the memories and the soul of that person and come alive. However, shortly before her father passes aboard the ship, he reveals that instead of bequeathing the ship and captaincy to Althea, which she has been kind of being groomed by her father to do, he instead passes the ship off to her sister, Kefria, who thereby ensuring that the ship is under the captaincy of her brother-in-law, Kyle. As Althea's father passes, the Liveship of Livesha ends up coming to life. As I said before, these Liveships come to life when 3 consecutive captains from the same family pass aboard the ship. It quickens and comes alive. These ships are made from wizardwood, which is a special wood imported from the Rainwilds, which is a river next to Bingtown. The trader families in Bingtown have very strong familial connections to the traders in the Rainwilds, and there's a lot of commerce and unusual goods, which have given Bingtown its name and helped these families to become rather wealthy. So these ships are made from wizardwood, and wizardwood is very special because wizardwood can come to life, and it takes on a life of its own personality, things of that nature. Also, wizardwood ships are the only ships that can sail up the Rainwilds River, where these families make their money off of trading with the Rainwild traders, because this river is very acidic, and it will basically burn away every other ship that tries to pass through the waters, except for wizardwood. So despite this very momentous occasion in the Liveship family, their Liveship quickening and coming to life and the passing of her father, Althea decides to leave the ship and her family to set out on her own. She's very distraught about the decision that her father and mother made by passing the ship off to her sister and her brother-in-law, and her brother-in-law is not going to allow her to continue to sail on the ship, so she sets off on her own to kind of make a life and a name for herself. Meanwhile, Kyle forces his oldest son, Wintro, who is visiting so as to be there for the death of his grandfather, from a monastery where he was sent to become a priest at a very young age. He forces his son Wintro on board the ship, Liveship by Asia, because somebody who shares the same blood of the family has to remain aboard the Liveship in order for the Liveship to still function and remain sane. So he forces Wintro aboard ship against his will. Wintro and his father do not get along. Very big difference of opinion. Wintro wants to return to the monastery. He doesn't want anything to do with being on a ship. His father, of course, is very hard-handed and refuses and basically kind of imprisons Wintro on the ship. So from here, the story kind of takes off. The story follows Althea. From her perspective, she sets off just to start a life of her own. It also follows Ronica, Althea's mother, and her sister Kefria, who kind of struggle at home to kind of salvage the family's finances because they are failing. They're losing their fortune, as well as struggling with Althea's niece Malta, who's kind of a spoiled little brat who really wants to become a woman far before it is time for her to do so. The story also follows Kyle and Wintrow as they kind of do a battle of wills aboard the Liveship Vivacia, especially as Wintrow tries to fight and prevent his father from turning the Liveship into a slaver ship because his father thinks that selling slaves is the only way to gain the family fortune. Of course, nobody in the family agrees with this, so Wintrow tries to prevent him from doing so. It also follows the pirate Captain Kennett, who is in the middle of trying to unite the Pirate Isles and become king of the pirates, and he's also hellbent on getting himself a live ship of his own. The story also follows the perspective of one of the other live ships, Paragon. Paragon is considered to be a mad ship, and he has been beached in Bingtown for many, many years. Supposedly he has killed entire crews, and as such has been deemed mad, and so it follows the story from his perspective. Also, the people in Bingtown are kind of fighting against these new people called new traders who are kind of being sent from one of the royal cities to take over land. And it's like there's a whole bunch of conflict and stuff going on. There's a lot happening. It's really fast-paced and action-packed, and it was excellent. This is seriously one of the best fantasy series that I have read in a while. The character growth, world building, and events were impeccably done. They were done so well. You're so engrossed and invested in the characters and what is going on with them. You're really rooting for them. With people who are bad, you really hate. Like, you just feel a lot of passion towards this book. Robin Hobb has a way of vividly painting a world so that it feels like you yourself are in it, like you're living these events, you are picturing them, you are a part of them. And it's very, very hard, in my experience, for an author to do that well, but Robin Hobb really, really has done that well. So the character growth is amazing, the world building is amazing, the events that take place are so well done. Everything about this book is really, really good. I rated every single book, the Live Ship, the Mad Ship, and the Ship of Destiny, each 5 out of 5 stars. So I don't think I've ever rated a whole series 5 out of 5 stars. I mean, it was just so well done. They are big, but I assure you they go fast when you're reading them. Like, you cannot put it down. It is that well done. Also, the way that she kind of weaves the story in with the first Farseer books is really, really well done. Events are referenced from the Farseer books. And I love it when books get interconnected. There's a certain character that perhaps might have connections to the Farseer books, but you'll find that out towards the end. I don't want to give anything away. It is just so well done, guys. I absolutely adored it, and I highly recommend it. If you guys do want to read it, I do recommend starting with the Farseer Trilogy, though, because all of her book series build one on top of the other. So even if you do read this one first and you want to continue on the rest of her books, you will have to go back and read the Farseer books before doing so, because things are referenced and interconnected, characters are interconnected, things like that. But yes, I really, really enjoyed these books. I highly recommend Robin Hobb. She is just such an amazing writer. If you read the Farseer books and you're not so sure about continuing on with the Liveship books, I say yes, please do. You'll be blown away by how well done and how different they are. And I've even started her next one, which is back with Fitz and the Fool, the Tawny Man Trilogy, and even that is even better than the Farseer books. So I recommend you stick with her. She's very well done. I also want to say that there is a trigger warning in this book for rape, in case that is something that you do not want to read. Just be forewarned as a trigger warning that there is a couple of rape scenes that do occur within the course of the series. Alright guys, that is it for today's book review of the Liveship Traders Trilogy. Let me know down in the comments if you have read these and if what you thought of them. Or if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, happy reading. Bye!